Suffering, pain, and suffering. That's what it feels like today on the markets. Welcome to another edition of XFeed. My name is The Schiller. If this is your first time tuning in, we talk everything Web3, NFTs, and a slice of wagme on the side. Jumping straight into things. Dylan here saying, excited to announce that crypto, the game, which apparently we're all playing, has been acquired by Uniswap. These past 6 months have been the highlight of my career, and I can't wait to tell you all about the future and what we got in store. Uniswap Labs acquires Crypto the Game. It's ballooned into this 24/7 crypto reality show. Listen, people are dying, absolute dying to be entertained. Going on their X page here, an interactive crypto survival game, CTGS 3, just their season 3, is coming soon. They have an announcement regarding Uniswap. Apparently, if you played, you got the ZK airdrop, which I know a bunch of people did quite well on here. And listen, that's the. Listen, it's all just that announcement. None of the other stuff. Listen, people are coming to check out the game. We want to know what the goodies are in store. And it's just retweets of everything. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I guess you could just click on the site and figure it out from that, right? True. Crypto the Game, Season 2. It's an interactive on-chain survival game where contestants buy in, join tribes, compete in daily challenges, and vote each other out over the course of 10 days until one person wins the entire pot. Well, I guess this is a way that you can get people that want to be on those various reality TV shows and bring them into a realm of being online in a reality show that is crypto based of all things, which is kind of exciting on that frontero. Now, the second tab we got rocking and rolling here is Gutter Cat Gang. Guys, what the hell is going on with Gutter Cat Gang? They're announcing this thing called Gutter Flip. You go to guttergrab.com and start flipping for gang token, which are chips of some sort. Each time you win and share your results on X, you enter the Gutter Lottery worth 5,000 Gutter chips. Not sure if Gutter Cat Gang is trying to go for like a meme coin route or exactly what. But that's interesting. Very, very interesting. Iggy Azalea. We've been seeing on the timeline, of course, her launching the meme coin of Mother. It's done rather well. And she's saying tomorrow, well, I guess this was 2 days ago, but I'm finally relaunching the telecommunication company I co-founded, and you will be able to purchase phones or month-to-month cell plans using Mother or Soul. Ad campaign and rollout to follow late this week. Exciting. So I don't know if anything has happened of that. I obviously bookmarked it at the time that it came across my timeline. Got almost 1 million views on it. Do we have Iggy Azalea going against the likes of like AT&T, Verizon, Bell, Rogers, maybe, with a meme coin of all things? So Sentiment, it's like Sentiment, but a little bit different, had a list of a bunch of tokens that they thought were really good and, potentially overlooked a little bit. So Multiverse, Decentraland, IMX, Scale Network, the Root Network, Axie Infinity, Sarah Official Engine, Sato, and the Sandbox. Very interesting group here. But of course, when you go and you look at the market caps, what do you notice about a lot of them? Well, I mean, we have Multiverse that's in $1 billion. We have Immutable that's at $3 billion. We have Axie Infinity at $1 billion, and we have the Sandbox at $1 billion. And again, these are high numbers. Engine at 436 million. Sato super low at 15 million. Root Network at below 50 million again. But all these other ones are upwards of 500 million plus, and it's crazy just to look at and what people are considering undervalued when we do have market caps that are as high as they are. But it does seem that everybody's like bullish in the market, except for the fact that you go on the timeline and everybody is just freaking out over the price drop of today. Now, this is something that was kind of interesting that came on my timeline, and it's Simon Cowell. If you ever watched American Idol, you might be familiar with him. And he was talking about One Direction, and he said the one thing that he wished that he did was keep the name, because obviously One Direction, they don't tour anymore. They've kind of disbanded, doing their own thing. But he's like, if I had the name, I could go out there, I could do a TV show. I could launch something completely different on the side of it. Maybe One Direction 2.0. And it makes me think just the way that we have it within the Web3 space regarding IP and everything else, it is kind of valuable just having the name itself. Staking season. The ApeCoin DAO is set to distribute 12.5 million Ape token to stakers over the next 90 days. Again, ApeCoin hasn't really gotten any traction throughout this year. It's been very interesting, filled with a lot of FUD, a lot of people not liking different proposals proposals that have been going through the DAO. Will be interesting to see overall. But again, if you're staking, still got more to come on that, which is cool. Having the name is valuable unless it's .root. That's pitch, you hit me deep, brother. But of course, listen, Celtics.root, NBA.root, Mavericks.root. You let me know. I got it for you, brother. I got it for you. So this is interesting. Co_museum, which is backed by Animoca Ventures, has announced its first physical launch featuring a 24K gold-plated skateboard created by Azuki, which these things were going for a ton at a point. Again, it was basically only whales that were going after this, and they got it signed by Tony Hawk. So we might have some arguments on the timeline about NFTs being in museums, but I guess for some physical variations of exclusive releases from those NFT companies, hell yeah, Bruce, if Atari, what is going on? So this is kind of interesting here, where Aaron talks about staking being like a no-no. And he says, we don't do NFT staking. It would make any NFT you stake as security. Any collectibles can become eligible for future score points, though, and you could complete quests to earn root, yada, yada, yada. But it's interesting because when you think of like Azuki and their point system, right? Because they never like announced staking or anything. I think Bored Apes were the only ones that offered that. But Azuki started doing the point system. Cool Cats had the cool score as well, even though I think Cool Cats had staking for milk at a point. But interesting because I haven't really seen anybody say, yeah, flat out NFT staking are securities. But of course, the regulatory landscape is all over the place. Now, if you're somebody out there that does graphics, you want to create memes, I don't know why anybody that was in the Bored Ape community didn't meme this one. And this is for Pokemon Snap. It's a meme that says, applies to a photography school. Here's my portfolio. And it's a bunch of pictures of people playing Pokemon Snap. But if you remember, for the other side demo that we had, it was kind of like a camera that was the exact same Pokemon Snap type idea. So just an idea out there for anybody that wants to get creative. A little bit more views on the timeline. One of the greatest fake it till you make it stories in crypto. What are we talking about? Mario Nawfal. Holy moly. Ran some Web3 incubator called the IBC Group, where he charged projects ungodly amounts to market them. He'd routinely say he had various large crypto accounts onboarded as key opinion leaders, even though he didn't. It became a news page where he'd post about crypto and then transition to global events, all without fact-checking anything. He'd then run these spaces where projects could pay to get featured. They gained some traction, and now he routinely gets retweeted by Elon and host spaces with some of the biggest celebs and people on the planet. At this point, it's GG's. Respect the grift. Bro truly faked it until he made it. Now, it's funny because Mario actually follows me. I don't think we've ever had like a conversation. And it was wild because he was super into like the Web3 space. And then all of a sudden pivoted, started covering all these news stories. Somehow Elon ended up getting on a space with them. But I remember one of the most egregious things. And if you've been watching the stream for a while, you might have been here for it. But there was this huge outing that people were like, bruh, like you're advertising that you are with all these big names, like including Zach XBT, which is a huge security guy within the space, and he got cooked. Like, I can't think of a realm where I would feel comfortable putting a whole bunch of people's names on a chart being like, yeah, we're connected with them, and I'm going to charge you for like a gig that like I can't actually guarantee, and we don't have anything there. But speaking of Mario, what's going on? Here's a tweet from him right here. Speaking about world news, but a little bit of crypto. It's funny knowing the backstory of things, right? Soccer tokens pump as Euro 2024 approaches. Well, I mean, we don't necessarily need meme coins. Maybe we just need soccer coins. Tokens linked to participating national teams have increased in value ahead of the Euro 2024 European Football Championship, which kicks off on Friday, in the Copa America in North and South America that starts next week. This is the thing that's always weird. And it makes me think of RuneScape, because there was the Santa Claus hat within RuneScape where people were like, hey, this is an opportunity to be festive for the season. And then they would go up in price right around the Christmas time, and then afterwards, it's over. Wonder if that's the same case with soccer tokens or not. Saigar here. It's crazy how underappreciated devs are in the crypto space these days. We need to be better about this. This is a very fantastic point that I, needed a second to think about. Be like, damn, I remember on the early days just in theory, worshiping devs, being like, man, that's so cool. I don't know how you guys know all these things. It seems like there's so much to learn about it. And now that there's everybody launching a token, everybody doing a project, and it seems like there's, a lot of people within the space, it feels like that supply and demand, I guess, from like a user point of view, you're like, oh, like, are they as valuable now? But the good ones they're cooking, dealing with issues. I haven't seen before. Love to see it. Shout out the devs. Okay, Loopify here, absolutely cooking on an early FUD Friday, even though today is Tuesday. Without sharing specific numbers, our burn rate for the entire Endless Clouds team is closer to 10% of this 18 million being spent on salaries. And he's talking about one of his teams here, and we'll get to like the tweet that he's quoting, but this is a massive overspend. It makes me bearish on the program instantly. Ridiculous, needs to be fixed. Okay, so he's quote tweeting and saying this is horrible pricing for the Arbitrum Gaming Catalyst program proposal. And within there, it highlights that the team's salaries are $18 million. And if you've been in the space for a while, you probably know the amount of times people have said, oh my God, like, did they take the mint money and then not do anything with it? We're getting fleeced, yada yada yada. The overspend in like the ape coin situation is another example here. Sorry, I need to think about that for a second. And it was something that people, if price action doesn't follow, then they resort to what they can find. And this would be like an example, right? So let's say in theory, Arbitrum falls down and people are like, well, the team's making 18 mil, maybe pay somebody else that's going to do a better job than the people making 18 mil, which is an insane amount to begin with, but just shows the opportunities here within Web3. And thinking back to like the Daniel Allegre thing within Yuga, like he probably saw, damn, there was a huge opportunity in here. They just got valued at like 4 billion. I mean, everybody flocked within Web3, and half the people that flocked in here, and we were like, oh, these are big players. This is super exciting. Like, where are they now? Were they just here for the money? Listen, they say that the participants are here just for the money. What about the people running the big shows that were never initially a part of it? Unbelievable. Okay, so here's a little quick clip from the RWA Segments podcast where I interviewed Federico.
At Fabrica, we bring real estate on chain. We turn real land into NFTs. So you can trade real estate properties online, you can borrow against them, and you can own the largest asset class in the world in a brand new way. But it's super modern and up to the times.
So this is a great session, and again, in my X bio and down in the YouTube description if you guys want to check this out, but I've been talking with a ton of different people, and the aspect of just making things more modern, that was one of the focal points that Federico was going over during that, is like all this stuff is ancient, the amount of paperwork and other stuff you can do, and then on top of it, the ability to get loans or use it as collateral, right? Like it's fascinating to think of what the opportunity with these NFTs, if they represent something true and it's not, hey, this is like a speculative asset. This is like, hey, here's a hard asset. It's an RWA, and here is how you can make things a little bit more liquid. Now, great post here from Miles, and it's insanely long, but we're going to go over 2 different points from it. And he was kind of describing the crypto market and highlighting that there's a reason that Bitcoin is going up comparatively to like the rest of the market, while altcoins are struggling a little bit. And one of those points saying that token unlocks are flooding the market. Right now, there is $200 million of unlocks per day, and the data below is majors only. This is new sell pressure that is constantly suppressing the market, and the more tokens that continuously launch, the more unlocks flood the market. Kind of crazy to think about. We're always on and on about dilution, all these different ecosystems. I think, if you know somebody that's in the space, maybe chat with them sometime. Be like, yo, for the different tokens you hold, are you actually using any of the networks that you're holding them on? Or are you just speculating that the narrative is going to be good or that they're going to be important? Because I feel like 95+% of people that own various crypto coins don't actually do anything on the networks that they own. They just hold that and, hope that it goes up. But talking about meme coins, it appears making fun of Biden is no longer funny. One of the big meme coins, and again, a lot of these are on Solana, is Joe Biden. Instead of Biden, it's Bowden. This thing went absolutely parabolic. As you can see, at one point it was way less than a cent, went all the way up here to, I mean, is that a cent? Is that, I don't even know what you count that as. Is that $1? There's no way that it went to $1. We went from 0.9 to 1. No way. Joey nuked it. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. But yeah, so seeing different price action here on the political charts. And then another kind of interesting here is Anthony Pompliano said, I sold my Ethereum and bought Solana instead. That's what I love about the space. Everybody gets to kind of pick their horse on who they think is going to be transformative because, again, this is all the internet of value, right? Whenever you're talking with people, it's, hey, there's infrastructure here, things are changing, the aspect of us going online. You might not be somebody who goes on online all the time, but hey, we're here and doing stuff online. Kind of cool. But still, highlighting that he's going into Solana, lower market cap than Ethereum, thinks that it's going to outperform. And it very well could. Okay, story time with the cards. Of course, here's your Pokemon card of the day. Hell yeah, that was a Moltres and Zapdos and Articuno GX. Okay, so you see this card right here. It's a Scripps Mosaic Allen Iverson signature. I was selling some NBA cards because I was like, hey, I'm getting into this Pokemon things, kind of whatever. So post online, like, I have $50. Here's a bunch of like packs that I haven't opened, including kind of like a box of ones that I had opened. And again, there was nothing that was like that crazy for it. And, $50. All right, sounds good. Guy opens it and sends me this. This card's like $150 US plus. Yo, see, if only I opened the packs. Unbelievable. But at the same time, I've opened Pokemon packs and getting absolutely nothing in a complete steal. But yeah, so that guy got an absolute deal on me. And it's kind of funny to think about taking chances on things. Because, yeah, if I would have, I would have been better off. Son of a gun. Now, talking about money and all the weird things, we're going to have a couple of different strange happenings. This guy apparently was at a store, bought a Louis Vuitton bag, and then immediately called his MasterCard to charge back, saying, no, dispute. And it probably happened. And it made me think of yesterday when we were going over the watches.io thread about like watches, saying, hey, like one of the problems is that you need to make sure that they can't claw back the money. And I'm like, damn, like this is exactly the example that they're talking about here. Obviously, Louis Vuitton versus a watch, but shows the benefits potentially of crypto. Yeah, I know. Listen, when has Pitch ever been wrong? I don't think Pitch has ever been wrong, and that's a problem. How many times have I been wrong? A lot. True. All right, Jesus Martinez here with a very interesting point, and this hit close to home because for anybody that's been following the channels for a while, this is kind of the same thing that happened to me. And it's interesting that we kind of, as the space progresses, the things that we're interested in change, and also the things that we thought were going to do well, sometimes they haven't. You've had to make pivots, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, it says, I thought it'd fall off when I started covering Axie in 2021, but I kept going. I thought I'd follow off when I stopped covering Luna. I'm assuming this is Luna. I don't know what Luna C is in 2022, but I kept going. I thought I'd fall off when I stopped covering Gala in 2023. So every year covering something different, right? And I kind of feel that's the same thing of like, hey, we think certain things are going to be super exciting. We get into it, and then, the time passes and not so great. Self-sabotage is real. Truth is, you're only as strong as you make yourself to be. If you think you're unstoppable, you will do what it takes to become unstoppable. Unbelievable. There we go. There's a little bit of pep talk of the day. Gala node holders in shambles. To be honest, they've not done horrible. And I feel like I've almost broken even. Maybe that's too much. I don't know if I've broken even on it per se, but like it's it's not awful, but like everything that seems to be announced from there has been having a tough time, for lack of a better term. Okay, so this is an interesting point that I actually kind of agree with here, saying group chats are burning out. Something new needs to happen soon, or else we're going so much lower. Study NFTs. I mean, I don't know about like the so much lower thing, but I definitely agree that like the group chats and like all that kind of stuff is like there's just not something that everybody's able to connect over the way that it's been in the past. And that could be, absolutely just my personal experience, but I feel like there is almost not anything where we all collectively are like, hey, we like that. Remember when Pokemon Go came out, and even if you weren't really like a Pokemon fan, everybody was doing it, so you kind of jumped in on it. I think like Warzone as well with Call of Duty, when that really broke out, people were jumping into that. I mean, Fortnite, all these games and experiences, and then we go to like the crypto, and I felt like everybody was jumping into Zedrun at a point, obviously. With NBA Top Shot as well in the early days, and everybody had their own interests on the side, but there was really nothing in the space that brought everybody together. Maybe that'll change. We'll see. Veda Research saying Apple banning Telegram from the App Store, is the main bear case for Ton gaming ecosystem. They did this with Fortnite in 2020, who was making $500 million a year with 50 million plus monthly active users. Telegram has 1 billion monthly active users and might potentially be too big to ban. So I first saw this and I was like, oh my God, this is today. And I was like, "Oh no, this is 2022." But the title of the article says Apple just kicked Fortnite off the App Store. Apple says Epic is violating its App Store guidelines by using its own payment system. It's funny because again, like a couple weeks ago, were we not talking about how Apple was trying to change things and force them onto like their extra payment methods or whatever it was? Like, there's all these things that continue to happen, and you just kind of scratch your head and be like, "Man, maybe that Solana phone idea could be good." But the Ton gaming system, I've seen that name pop up a little bit more. I'm not very familiar. So if you know, let me know. Or otherwise, we will find out. Okay, so Moonbirds is doing a new update. Guys, if Moonbirds does a new update, are you going to buy it? Probably not. If Fluff World does an art update, are you going to buy it? Probably not. I don't really understand what the point of putting a whole bunch of resources into art style changes are, but I guess because Yugi's taking it over, they want to do that. Maybe it's good for other things and it's going to be incorporated. I don't know. Maybe it's high expectations to have something that's different than art on these, but I digress. 2024 is a turning point for the institutional adoption of tokenized assets. And no one cares about Fluff's pitch dark. Yeah, you heard me deep, brother. You heard me deep. Okay, so here is the managing director, Kaj, on the point mentioned previously. We see a growing appeal of tokenized assets among institutional investors and their clients. This presents a substantial market opportunity for the traditional asset manager sector, as a significant amount of capital is ready to be enhanced by the tokenization market. The time has come for asset managers to start actively engaging with this expanding industry. And the only takeaway that I have from this is damn, years ago, it was so hard to try to explain the stuff and be like, hey, like, I just have like a premonition that this is going to be very good to be a part of, trying to follow it as it's getting adopted. We get to see it in real time. I wasn't old enough, like when the internet came around, to see the transformative nature that it had, right? But seeing tokenized assets, I'm like, holy smokes from day one. And now just constantly it is getting validated time and time again, and really, really cool to see and easier to explain. Now, this one's maybe a little bit harder to explain. Is Mike saying, at my son's elementary school graduation, the principal read each student's dream job: athletes, doctors, firefighters. My son said he wanted to own a Bitcoin mining facility. Everyone laughed at him. Okay, so I mean, that's just super random, to be honest. Hearing that from like a young child, like most people would be like, remember, there's still the stigma. Like I feel like there's a huge misconception that people think, oh yeah, like everybody just agrees that crypto is like cool. Nah, there's still like a huge negative connotation for a lot of people around it. At least that's my personal belief. And so, his parents kind of having like a chuckle at it, but like at the same point, like, yeah, damn, if that guy had a Bitcoin mining rig, maybe he's gonna be better in all those different jobs. Yo, Atari God, listen, I'm glad you do. You tell Pitch, you tell that man. So Disney is doing Pinnacle, and I'm trying to think if Disney had done anything else within the space, and I'm having a tough time remembering. I feel like there was Genies, but I don't know if that was Disney versus like Dapper. And the point being is they're launching this, and they've been doing it behind. You had to have early access, and they're opening it up, and they're just advertising it again. But it does show that, hey, like the big players are absolutely here, and it's just a matter of time before the floodgates open of what is possible. Okay, we've gotten the first look on the new Lord of the Rings movie. What the hell is this? The War of the Rohirrim. This is apparently 150 years before the scenes of the movies, or the timeline, I should say. And I don't know how I feel about this. I think that obviously doing like an animation style is cool, but at the same time, this does not give your traditional Lord of the Rings vibes whatsoever. So curious how people react to it. And I know Tom, like I quote tweeted this earlier. He was like, I don't like the vibe of it. He preferred the 1978 version much better. The best looking of the movies, to be honest. You think so? Nah, that's crazy, bro. All right, so I saw a CO post earlier about the Friends chocolate. You guys might have seen it too. Apparently, the site doesn't have anything on it. It's all out, but they've been posting about people buying it and whatnot. Maybe I'm gonna go try to see if I can get a chocolate. But the aspect that I'm wanting to highlight is that they are now accepting ApeCoin, Ethereum, and Solana. I think that we're gonna see more and more different payment, product providers would be the term. Yeah, product providers that offer more things than just cash. And by cash, I mean your local currency, right? The USD, Canadian that gets transferred over to USDC, or US if you're using MasterCard, et cetera, et cetera. When people have options of what they can pay with instead of just, hey, you need to use a credit card or whatever, I think things get shaken up quite a little bit. Yo, Nano, what's going on? Dude, can you explain? Because when I checked this out, maybe it's only on mobile, but when I was going to Friend's Chocolate, like I clicked on everything and it said that it was completely out. Yeah, it says empty collection. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I have an OG Lord of the Ring closed card box of cards. Wonder if it's worth anything? Maybe. I don't listen, early Digimon too. You got to look for those ones. And for Pokemon, you might. Listen. You just got to find the right buyer, right? Harry Swan, where true. Where the hell is Harry? Harry's probably out working, doing the Lord's work here. So I saw this and it was just a post about some video games here. A little bit of nostalgia for you. 20? Wow. 2001, can't say 2001, right? Nobody says 2001. 2001 was a banger year for games. What's the best one? And for anybody that's on audio, it's showing Animal Crossing on the GameCube, Halo for Xbox, Super Smash Bros. Melee on the GameCube, Pokemon for the Game Boy, the Crystal version, Grand Theft Auto 3, Final Fantasy, Sonic, Super Mario World, all these different brands. And it's funny when you like kind of just stop for a second and you really think about all the brands and things that are going on right now. Well, what if, tomorrow the one of these NFT brands launches a game that ends up being an incredible viral success? I mean, how many of these different things just happen, right? Like I'm pretty positive Halo just started as a game. It was somebody's idea, thought that would be cool. Same with all these other ones. Now, obviously, there was different things that brought them all kind of to mass market per se, but it's cool to think about the potentials, and maybe this is just a whole whack ton of opium. You know what I mean? Golden Sun, if anyone says otherwise, they are wrong. Okay, so apparently I got like $15,000 around me, lads. Yo, we're going to make it. Flag me. The V-Friends trading card boxes, right? Like there's literally one right here, and then there's another one over there, and then one in front of me. And I think these were free when you had like a V-Friend, and I didn't do anything with them because I was like, I'm not gonna play the game. Like I don't have the NFTs or anything anymore. Apparently they're going for like $400 and like legitimately selling around there. So if anybody happens to know any V-Friends maxis, we got V-Friends ledgers, we got V-Friends Patient Panda hoodies because I freaked out over them running out of merch on the first day. Gary V thought the guy knew how to throw an event, ran out of everything, and then they sent us a bunch of free signed shit. Hell yeah, bro. So yeah, let me know if anybody's got any V-Friends fans. I got the goodies for you. Punks below 30 ETH, but are still the most expensive 10,000 collection by 3x. Says more about state of things than it does about punks, in my opinion. Very interesting point here where, I guess all the 10,000 PFP collections fall under the same category. They're all kind of trying to do the same thing for the most part as well. Like CryptoPunks feels like it's somewhat of their own thing because they keep not wanting to have anything happen to them. But if you go down the list, everyone's trying to do brand building of some sort. But still crazy that they are 3x higher than the next closest things. Need to see if my artifact gear is worth anything. Left that. Listen, the artifact video the other day made me kind of get excited a little bit. I thought it looked pretty good. And listen, the podcast we've been doing, they got Pokemon cards now. This is what we like to see. Different fractionalized versions of things as well. So if you're wanting to buy like a piece of it, you can. I got one of the Pudgy Rod pieces, and then one of the watches, but I mean, keeping an eye now that they've got graded Pokemon cards. And for anybody that doesn't know regarding like graded Pokemon cards, the way that it works is you send it in and then you have to pay like, for like a base card, it's like $20-$30, whatever, for it to be graded. So whenever you see like a graded card with a cost, just be like, okay, like, for the ungraded version of that, it's probably take $20 to $30 off typically. So if you find anything that's graded under $20, it's probably a deal. To be honest, it's probably a deal. This guy Ness is cool. The weekly spaces with him. He's funny as F. You got to join sometime. Yeah, I know Ness. We've chatted actually in the past before, but yeah, good people love his tweets, and definitely a Doodles Maxi, which is fantastic. The artist everyone fudded CryptoPunks for is partnering with Nike for her own shoe, or Jordan here. But that's actually kind of nuts. Everybody was hating on the CryptoPunk super CryptoPunk world NFTs. We talked like 10 minutes going over both sides on the timeline. Some people loved it, some people absolutely hated it. And now we got a shoe coming out, and it's like, damn, remember when everybody hated that? I feel like people just aren't educated on things, and they need to come on their own when it's all based off the art. I think one of the biggest problems within the space is like expectation setting and obviously communication, because that's what everybody always says, you know what I mean? Crazy. Yo, where are your artifact shoes? Ordered 2 pairs a year ago. Yo, that's insane. I mean, same with the Ledger stacks. Those are just getting shipped out. A whole bunch of things that were intended to be like physical merch, like there was some problems in the Web3 space with getting those things out. Obviously, COVID played a part of it, kind of within the early days, but it is very interesting for like the mass productions of things. Yeah, slow. So this is a perspective post, and again, other guide pro. If you want to follow him, Justin, absolute gem, and he's been going over what's going on with Faraway and the heavy metal Legends of the Mara. Shift over from Yuga to them, and he's saying key info here: adding Platinum, Paradise, and Riftland to the S3.5 LB rewards, not purchasable, possibly out of the chest. Lands will be visually distinct with land. You kind of go through these things, right? And like, I'm trying to read them. Yeah, for season 3.5, since those lands would be used in season 4, these lands will be added in season 3.5 leaderboards. Here's the tier 1 LB, 5 Platinum Paradise. You go through all these things, right? And it's making me kind of realize, like, holy sugar shit. How many people are actually going to go out and be like, okay, I want to learn all the intricacies of these games? Because these kind of things, like, it's cool, right? Like, it's cool that there's all these happenings and whatnot from like an outsider point of view where, I have other side land, I have some Maras, I kind of run the thing, I don't really do a whole lot with it. There's so much info here, and it's like, am I paying attention to everything that's going on? What would make me go over the top? And, I'm somebody with the friggin' assets. Imagine somebody without them. How do you convert them? And I feel like that's going to be a big problem kind of across the board. But maybe these trailers and these other aspects of showing like how cool some of the games are what makes people be like, maybe I will jump in and play. Justin, National Bank to buy Canadian Western Bank for $5 billion. Oh, my gosh. This is a premium of over 110%. Kind of crazy, but it goes back to the conversations around what is going on with the financial systems. Can we be our own bank? True. Another one here. My bank just told me I couldn't cash a $1,500 check. They said they could give me $200. What a joke. What kind of disaster are we on the brink of? Again, is it a disaster? Is it just the changing of money? How much is blockchain playing a part of it? Well, that's why we're here trying to follow along the journey. Atari God, Pitch Dark, Nana. Yeah, that's it. You listen, the absolute 3 beauties here, the 3 stooges, if you will. Appreciate you guys coming on through. That's going to do it for this edition of XFeed. We'll be back tomorrow as per usual. And of course, if you are wanting to check out the RWA Segments podcast, where I have a whole bunch of interviews with all these people that are trying to take assets and tokenize them, and they're doing it from the scratch, and all these fascinating ways that you might not be familiar with. There's all these different sites, all these different opportunities, and they're just not really getting kind of a voice. So if you want to check that out, again, in the X bio or in the YouTube description below. LFG. Yo, Atari God, best show in Web3. Thank you, friend. Guys, enjoy the rest.